Hello, welcome to Sparkable Studio. My name is Vivian and I am the designer and owner of the invitation design templates sold on Etsy. So I'm walking through how I was inspired and designed some of my templates. I went through the postcard one last week, which you can see in the link below. And then today I'm walking through how I did my second Etsy listing, which is the Hens floral arch design. So let's get into it. So you can see here I'm in Figma. Again, this is my design platform of choice, having been a UX designer in the past, designing a whole bunch of startup websites and apps before being a product strategist or venture strategist for a lot of that 0 to 1 space. Anyway, so yeah, you can see on Pinterest, I really loved this layout. It was really dreamy. I really liked the arch text, this archway, even with the little foot poking out. And then you have this sans serif text as your like subheading and then your paragraph. And I was like, this is a perfect invitation template. Like I can easily see where everything would go. And so this was my very quick mock-up of that and actually this arch text is really hard to do in Figma using the plugins. I was using free plugins and once you've done it, you can't edit it, as you can see, because that makes it into each individual letter. So if I wanted to rewrite this, couldn't do it. But I just needed some idea on what that would look like. And then I thought the date would be really nice. That looks really nice all together. And then all the other details down below. I'm really into, because I went to a friend's baby shower and she had us make flower crowns and it was so beautiful. If I can find those, I will put them in here so that you can kind of see the photos of that. And I just loved it. And from there, yeah, I had always wanted to do flower crowns for some event of my own. Haven't had the chance to yet, so why not design the invitation template for it? And maybe the event will manifest itself. So went on Unsplash. I really also like to give my heritage more representation, so more Asian representation in the imagery. I think I was heavily inspired by this Korean looking dude, like how dreamy. So in Unsplash, I was looking at like floral, Asian, and this was what was coming up. Do I have any others I tried? Yeah, you can see I've just got those two and I was like, oh, these look really nice. And I always like pop them in to check because you see them, the stock image, and you're like, oh, I can kind of see how it works. But then when you put it in, it like crops just off or, for whatever reason, it doesn't quite work. Yeah, so I played with those and I was like, oh, this looks quite nice. And I couldn't quite decide. So I just left it. And then this was an idea of, okay, what if it was like the full date and time all together and you can get all the other details down here? What would that feel like? I was also really inspired by this sort of motif, whereas more organic, it is like a petal itself. Or in this case, it kind of looks like a water rippling out. And I had been thinking about how we don't sort of celebrate enough our own growth or our own rebirths, which don't always come during birthdays, but they can come during really big life transitions, like when you go from being single into a partnership. So, that's a really big milestone for a woman and looking at how she might navigate that. Yeah, really thought about how the more you, worked on yourself, the more there was a ripple effect out into your immediate community, immediate family and friends into your community. Anyway, bit out there in terms of the way I think philosophically, but I did also love this way of making borders, which is through words. And to me, words hold like so much meaning that they're almost like blessings in and of themselves. They act like spells. So I was like, oh, I really like that. And I really like this organic feel. I hadn't seen it before in any sort of invitation with the text like that. This is obviously a CD um, or playlist mock-up that I loved. And then here are some other ones that I was like, oh, like, again, this sort of mirror or window with the text, the arch, and organic shapes is really beautiful. And then the flowers is very much like bloom and flourish and like a woman transitioning, blooming. So I played with that idea and actually vector copied this here and then popped in the images to see what they looked like. And I was like, ooh, this is really cool, really cool. And then I found out that in Canva, it's actually much easier to do arch text. So then I switched over to designing there. And so you can see I've taken that border ability to do borders with the text here again and found some really nice words that I felt, but obviously you can personalize and change it to your liking. And then I played with the arch and making sure that that could fit for, really long names, really long events. I think I used Bridal Shower as a test case as well to make sure that it doesn't like overlap the image and things like that. So so I also recreated this one in Canva and wanted to give it a similar look and feel to the words, but with lines instead. So this is my attempt at it. You can see it didn't quite make the cut. I actually quite liked this one where I have like this semi border around it, but Canva is a bit limited in the way that it can make frames, which is much easier to use for you to click and drag in an image. For anyone who doesn't do design or doesn't want to fiddle with it, I didn't want to make it really hard. So until I know how to make my own custom ones, stay tuned. This one won't get released just yet. So that's how I came up with the floral hens, and I'm really into sort of like alternative, creative hens events or bridal shower events. So I have some other ideas around like a tea ceremony or like a matcha theme or a like create your own terrarium. Maybe there'll be a floral crown, like actual one. So let me know if any of those resonate with brides to be, or even like sister circles, sister gatherings, blessing ways. I'd love to sort of be able to celebrate and honor more women transition points. I'm currently a mother myself of two beautiful kids. One is 3.5 and one is almost 1. And motherhood completely changed me, but I was also completely unprepared for the journey and wished I had sort of honored or did a few more rituals and ceremonies around it. So anyway, thanks so much for watching and for hearing how I was inspired and how I went about designing the floral hens invitations. See you next time. Bye.